We all know that unfortunately Christians are divided, and it's a big scandal, and Jesus already in his time was praying for Christian unity, that the Christians, all his disciples, should be one. And I think that we are all trying to do something, everyone with prayer and in our own communities, for this unity. But of course we also need structures, and this Pontifical Council is now already 50 years old. It begins everything especially with the Second Vatican Council. And we are trying to do what is possible to bring Christians more closely together. The biggest effort is to know each other, because after the division we didn't met so much. There were also offenses made, and there is a lot of prejudice ones against the others, and there are not so many, especially if you are speaking about relations with Orthodox, not so many theological questions, but more that we don't know each other. We have a lot of prejudice. We are unable to understand each other, so we need time to know better each other, to be able to listen to each other and to make a real dialogue. So first the dialogue of life, of sharing, and only then also the theological dialogue would be able to bring fruits. There is already theological dialogue that brings some fruits, but it's difficult to go on because it's still a lot to do on this level of knowing each other and overcoming the prejudice. After the Fourth Ecumenical Council in Chalcedon, the first big division with some churches that now we call normal Oriental Orthodox churches or ancient Orthodox churches, Coptic, Ethiopian, Syrian, and so on. Then around the year 1000, so the symbolic date 1054, that was division with Byzantine tradition, and of course there were some theological questions in both cases and in others, but there were also misunderstanding, there were also some political influences, cultural differences that somehow there were also very different reasons for this. And of course, because of long time, these differences were deepened, and then every church was developed in his own way. And this is why today the differences, especially when you look at outside, they're much bigger than they were at that time. So also this is why it's more difficult to understand each other. So of course we have, as Pontifical Council for Promoting Christian Unity, we have relations not only with Orthodox, but with all different churches, also Protestant churches and ecclesiastical communities. Those who want to have dialogue, they are not all, and many of them are so small that it's impossible to have dialogue with all of them. So we have with groups of these communities. We have also contacts and collaboration with the World Council of Churches and other similar institutions. So there's very wide, of course, everyone has his own section. In all these different directions the dialogue is going on, sometimes better, sometimes less. There are big differences, and but the most important is that we are doing what is possible today in every of these directions. Maybe I will say also once again about Orthodox, that I know better than others. It's not only question of scandal that exists because of division, because we all proclaim the same Jesus Christ, but we are one against another. It's also the big issue, big question, that after the division there was our common tradition divided. So we on the West, we developed more the aspects of some aspects of our Christian faith and life. We have everything, but some aspects are maybe weaker in our tradition. And the Eastern tradition is the opposite. They have other aspects better developed and some less. And I think that maybe the crisis that we have in one and another church today is also the consequence of this somehow weakness in some aspects. And if we know better again each other and the tradition of others that can enrich us, I think that we will be able to fully live our own tradition and better proclaim the gospel. Everyone in his own church, but also all together will better witness the Christ in the whole world. But the similar is also with Protestant churches. They have many positive aspects where can we learn a lot and will help us to be more that we could better witness the Lord today.